Welcome back to the Renaissance Room podcast. So I actually don't know what is going on with the pod, but I literally recorded like 2 whole episodes and they just never posted. But I'm coming on today because, it's a new month, it's a new season. If you ask yourself like, what season are you in? I would say that I'm in a season of shedding. Yes, I'm in a season of shedding so many layers, so many ideas about who I thought I was. So many layers I put on to protect myself as I move throughout this world that just really tries to eat you alive, especially when you are a Black person, and unraveling. Like, I really feel like I'm in the process of like unraveling. Like, if I can think of a snake, it's really giving like shedding. And I guess I said snake because I don't know. I mean, I could say butterflies, but the reason why, I love butterflies, you guys know, like spiritually, butterflies are just so symbolic and just like great. You know what I mean? Just great species. But when you think about the life of the butterfly has a very short life. And I think in times in my life where I was really vulnerable and I was like uncertain and unsure of like my life and things like that, I did feel a great resignation with the butterfly. But now I feel more like a wolf, I feel more like a panther, But then that, I don't want to go on a tangent. But I'm listening to James Baldwin, and it's the very vintaged, interview he did. I don't think that was Nikki Giovanni, but I think it was Nikki Giovanni. And he did the interview, and I'm just looking at a snippet of it. And it was a snippet that I've never seen because I don't know what it is with that interview. Like, it's such a infamous, I can't even say infamous at this point because I low-key do think it's like low-key famous. But I can never seem to find that full interview. Like, I feel like I remember trying to find it, and I always only found like 3-minute snippets and breakdowns of it. But anyway, he just talks about, the process of becoming yourself. And I think that's kind of where I want to take the Renaissance Room. Honestly, I want this to be the process of helping you as a Black woman or a Black man. We have it's like less than 9% of men who listen to this podcast. So that's really like a very small fraction. And honestly, ladies, as I tap into myself, I'm talking about really healing so much like feminine energy. I'm talking about really healing myself. I really resonate with women. Like, I think as much as people are like feminists and boom, boom, boom. And although I'm not a radical, I'm not really too far left on anything. Quite frankly, I really am very blessed to be Black and to have such a sense of well-roundedness, which honestly I think was cultivated through literature. Yeah, because when I think about my life, I haven't really had that many experiences to be so well-rounded. But I think, reading books so early on, I was really able to cultivate worlds. And I think now at this point, I have a very rich inner world that allows me to see life through so many different perspectives and so many different lenses. And I say this all the time, but I mean, wisdom, literature, it's enlightening. And it's the one thing that can really put you several years ahead. So guys, I'm always encouraging you guys to read your books. And I'm not just talking about, you do what you want, kind of honestly, but hey, if you read, it'll take you far. But that's my intention for the Renaissance Room. Like, I really want it to be a process of becoming. I want us to be able to have just very candid conversations. We talk about documenting culture, yes, but you guys know I always do things based in my own like desires and my own values of like authenticity. So I feel like if we can just continue to like layer and more so pivot in that space, that's kind of where I want this podcast to go. Like, I'm not just talking about common conversations like workplace. I'm talking about like real life experiences that you're having in your life, and not really a hot topic, not a cultural moment. Like, whatever it is that you're going through your life, or whatever it is that you have overcome as a Black person in terms of that process of like becoming yourself. The Black experience is so unique. And I say this all the time because it is a very unique experience. I mean, living in it, right? Always living in it. But when you really take the step back to just really sit with it, the uniqueness and how foul, and how troublesome and just the hardship and the aching and just how peculiar, right? And how dismissive. Like, the Black experience is really, really hard. So I just think if we can create a space, and that's honestly what I've been doing, literally talking about the things that I have overcome, but I'm talking about in terms of Blackness. What does it mean to you? And outside of Blackness, who are you? You know what I mean? What is your what is your spirit saying? You know what I mean? What is your personality? Like, what are the things that make you you? I think that is 100%. And this is why I was referencing Ball when he talked about that. The Black person, and everyone has an idea about the Black. Immigrants even have a negative mindset and, stereotype Black people. So when you realize that everyone is looking at you through this lens of disregard, and everyone is, so content and okay with disrespecting you, and it's it's such a unique experience, because the paradigm and those stereotypes are perpetuated in every country. You know what I mean? So it's just so rare when you can actually just kind of be. And I want to just kind of talk about what that is like, honestly, navigating the world and really trying to figure out who you are. And as you can see, I've gone through so many different things to try to figure out what that is. A lot of people take up different spiritual practices and things like that, but truly it is a journey that you really have to forge. And for me, I'm excited to document this moving forward, especially with so much intention, because you realize that there is so much to unravel. And honestly, the process low-key seems like it might just be like a lifetime, because there's so many lies that are embedded within our culture, and especially that are permeated by white society. You know what I mean? You even think about the American standard. I had a YouTube video where I talked about why do we cast away Black conservatives, not realizing that we are just as American, but we're never seen in that. We're never considered. And it's crazy, because it's you really can't sit with that, because you really to fathom that is so mind blowing. The intentionality and the consistency, of degrading the Black, of disregarding the Black, of mistreating the Black, of disrespecting the Black is so crazy. I even think about modeling, right? I'm looking at modeling and imagery and art, and it always showcases the African woman, right? And very seldom does it showcase the Black, and we could talk about origins and the things of the like, but the truth is that African Americans are not African, okay? It's not that we didn't originate from African. We understand that is literally subcontext for African American, but we are not African. So it's a different culture. But when you talk about, I'm not even here to beat on the door of representation. That's not, because at this point I believe in creating our own stories, having our own narratives, and creating our own spaces. And that's not to really take this back, post date. It's just more so to say, hey, if you want to see something in the world, create it yourself. That's what I'm about. But it's just more so just to realize that representation, it really doesn't exist. It's so, I just think that there's so many layers in regards to the Black experience, in regards to figuring out who we are and navigating all of that, because that's a lot to unpack. So that's going to be the intention moving forward. And hopefully we can do this together. Hopefully we can learn together. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.